Yeah. Steps Foundation. Talk Tuesday. We going live on YouTube. If you got something to say, this your moment. Talk Tuesday. Let it out, let it breathe. Every voice got power, every story we believe. Talk Tuesday. Speak truth, no fear. If it's real, bring it here. Yeah, yeah, we all is. Yeah, we all is. Yeah, we mic check, 1, 2. Yeah, we breaking the silence, turning pain into purpose. Yeah, we moving with guidance. From the youth to the leaders, every voice amplified. If you ever felt unseen, this the place you can rise. We don't judge, we just build, we connect, we grow. Every convo, plant a seed, watch the future glow. From the block to the booth, yeah, the message stay true. Talk Tuesday every week. Yeah, we talking to you. Talk Tuesday. Let it out, let it breathe. Every voice got power, every story we believe. Talk Tuesday. Speak truth, no fear. If it's real, bring it here. Yeah, yeah, we are real talk, no filter. Yeah, we keeping it honest. From the struggle to the wins, every story a promise. We uplift, we inspire. Put the truth on display, turning conversations into change every day. Step by step, yeah, the mission stay clear. Get a youth a platform, let them know we right here. If you got something heavy you ain't carrying alone, Talk Tuesday podcast, yeah, this mic feel like home. Speak your truth, don't hold back. Your voice matter, remember that. From your pain to your pride, we standing right by your side. Talk Tuesday. Let it out, let it breathe. Every voice got power, every story we believe. Talk Tuesday, stand tall, be heard. Steps Foundation. Yeah, we moving with purpose. Talk Tuesday, talk Tuesday, say it loud. Talk Tuesday.
All right, good people. Welcome to Talk Tuesday, a series that is dedicated to empowering youth and families. This series is brought to you by Steps Foundation, Inc., where advocacy meets education for the betterment of young minds. Each month, we explore meaningful topics designed to inspire growth, spark creativity, and equip our listeners with the tools that they need to thrive. I'm Abigail Ellis, your host and the executive director here at Steps Foundation, and I'm excited that, again, you guys have chosen to spend another Tuesday with us. This month, we're talking about something that every single one of us experiences, again, no matter what our age is, no matter what our background is, or where we are in life, and that is navigating new beginnings. New beginnings can often be very exciting, but they can also feel super intimidating. Maybe you're starting a new school this year, beginning your first job, moving into a new season of life, or recovering from a setback, or simply trying to become a better version of you. Honestly, every new beginning asks something of us. It asks us to let go of what was and start to embrace what could be and trust ourselves enough to take the next step, even when we don't have all the answers. Far too often, we believe that we're supposed to have life figured out by a certain age or by a milestone. We start to compare our journey to everyone else's highlight reel and even wonder if we're somehow just falling behind. But growth isn't a race, and purpose isn't something that you stumble upon overnight. It's built one decision, one lesson, and one courageous step at a time. So throughout this month, we'll be having honest conversations about the pressure of feeling like you should have everything figured out, about learning to begin again after a difficult season, and embracing the beauty of being a beginner, and also finding hope when life doesn't go according to our plan. So whether you're a student, a parent, an educator, or someone simply trying to navigate your next chapter, this series is for you. And sometimes the greatest opportunities begin the moment we decide to keep moving forward. So I hope you guys are ready to dive into today's conversation. Again, I gotta say, I'm super excited to have Ava with us again today. Eva, what's up?
Hello, how are you? And thank you for having me back. I really love this topic, so I'm happy that I've been invited again.
Yes, I'm so glad that you're back. And again, I feel like it's always good when we get to hear multiple perspectives, and especially as we navigate topics. And I gotta say, today's topic I feel like is an amazing topic because I think we've all kind of been there. So it's about, fresh starts after a difficult season. We all have a bad day.
Mhm.
Bad days are inevitable. They're meant to happen. But how we choose to navigate those bad days is what matters, right? Every sunrise that we have is proof that beginnings are possible, even when we have our darkest nights. So I'm excited to start asking y'all some questions and hopefully, hope y'all ready to give me some answers. I think Eva's like, yeah, I'm ready.
Mhm.
I'm gonna try not to start y'all off with a super tough one. I feel like last week I started y'all off with a tough one, and y'all kind of gave me side eye. Y'all was like, "That's really how we starting." Okay, so I guess the first question that I will ask you guys is, hmm, how do we know when we're ready for a fresh start? I see Lamar's thinking face. I see that thought bubble. Yeah, how do we know when we're actually ready for a fresh start?
Okay, I'm gonna start because they're thinking. That's an interesting question, Abby, because sometimes we decide when it's a fresh start, but sometimes the fresh start just arrive and we were not expecting that. So it is, I want to start saying that we do not plan all the fresh starts.
True.
Okay, so but if we have that power to start our fresh start, I believe that one of the ways is if you feel like if you're doing something, for example, in our job, so we're in the job sense now, we're not in school anymore. I mean, I'm in school, but you know what I mean, is when you start going to the office and you start going to your job and you're like, I don't feel a purpose here anymore. And doesn't matter what is your job, because doesn't matter what you're doing. You should have a purpose every day to go to that job. Even that is a step for you to get somewhere else or at the moment is because you need a part-time job to support your education or because you went to college and this is your career and this is what you want to do, but you should have a purpose on anything that you're doing. The day that you wake up and let's say you play baseball and you don't have a purpose with that team or to go to that game anymore, that is like a sign that is like, okay, I need to find that purpose. And that is either I find something else to do or let me kind of refocus again on like what I'm doing right now. I think for me that's a key.
I can say I agree with that, Eva. And I agree with you too. You don't always have a choice in when you're gonna get that fresh start. And sometimes like if we're blessed enough to be able to decide that we want to have a fresh start, because that's what we mostly hope for is that we want to be in control of our fresh start. But when we're unable to be in control of it, I can agree. Like finding your purpose is always important and knowing when and how to move. Um, I love to say embrace the start, however it looks. Because sometimes, like a fresh start can be super scary, especially when it's an unwanted fresh start. But sometimes it's actually a good thing. I like to say, I feel like everything happens for a reason. And as much as we like to hold on to things sometimes, God has a way of making you let it go. even when you don't want to let it go. And so I feel like you kind of know when you're in the moment. You don't always get to know beforehand. But when you do get to know beforehand, like you get to plan it out and hopefully it goes as smooth as you're planning it. But even then, you have to be prepared for things not to go as smoothly as you want. So always be prepared for the unexpected, no matter what you make plans for, is how I feel. But yeah, I kind of like fresh starts. I think every day is a fresh start, honestly. Every day you wake up, you get to do things differently. You get to choose how you're going to navigate your day every morning when you wake up. So I think every day is truly a fresh start. Do my students think differently?
Well, yes and no, because I was gonna say I was also gonna mention the fact that fresh starts are unpredictable a lot of the time. Like you will never really know unless you notice that you got too comfortable. The moment you get too comfortable, that's probably going to be I need a change of something. Let it be a change of environment, a change of the people you're around, a change of something. You need to change something because the moment you get too comfortable, it it'll get you every time because then you start slipping up. And a lot of those slip ups in the spaces we get too comfortable, it'll only affect us in the long run. And if you get too comfortable for too long without that fresh start, then it'll affect you so much through a long period of time that you really won't be able to get that time back and fully cover through that. You're gonna have to read what you saw, and you're gonna have to maybe use that fresh start as a slate to build off what you already know.
I heard you loud and clear. He said we're gonna have to reap what we sow. That's real. That is very real. So I guess my next question for you guys is, why is starting over one of the hardest things that people have to do? And I feel like Lamar, you kind of touched on it. And I think you can kind of like dig in there a little more. But why is starting over one of the hardest things for people to do?
Because they got too comfortable. But it's really that. Because when you stay in a space so long and you get comfortable, right, it becomes a sense of safety and familiarity. That familiarity makes you not want to leave. But that's also the same thing that's holding you back. And that's the same thing that's like gonna make things worse when it comes to that fresh start. Because the fresh starts in life are necessary. It's gonna happen whether you want it or not. But if you can catch it before it catches you, then it'll be better for you. But like even then, I feel like why it's so hard is because we don't let it we let it catch us and we don't catch it before it has to come up to us because we feel so comfortable in that space. We use it as more of a safe medium, even though we really shouldn't use it as a safe medium for that long of a time that we've been there. So I feel like that's why it's so hard.
I think fear is why it's really hard for people to start over again. And it's like the fear of the unknown. Like you don't know what's gonna happen, and so that's what scares you. And even if it's going smoothly, you still have that tiny bit of fear inside of you that's like, I'm expecting 10,000 things to go wrong on this journey. Or what happens if it does go right? Am I deserving of it? And I think that fear is kind of what keeps people comfortable, to your point, Lamar, when they don't want to make moves or don't want to change the things around them for better. I really do think fear is what makes it hard for people to start over.
Not only that, but the fear of letting go,
Yeah.
because the fear of letting go really does impact a lot. Trust me, all this has impacted me. I can't really be talking on this. I'm definitely guilty, but it's okay.
Oh, you have that fear of letting go?
To an extent, but it's mostly the fear of the unknown.
Oh, okay, okay. That's real. Do any of you feel any differently? Y'all feel like he's spot on? I see them head nods. So, oh, come on, Eva. Come on.
No, I just want to add that I agree with both of you. It's the unknown. I think that's what makes it hard, especially when you have the choice to start over. Okay, so when is happened to you is different. And I like what Lamar said because I remember there is a very famous singer in Puerto Rico that I remember her interview years ago. And they asked her, do you get nervous every time that you go on stage? And she said, yes. The day I do not get nervous anymore, I will quit because I'm comfortable and I will not do my best. So you are right. And like I tell people when they start a job, it's like you have to treat every day like it's the first day. You know, that first day of school that you want to have the best outfit, you want to have that clean notebook, you should treat every day the same. Um, because why you want to do that? Because you want to have a good impression on that first day of school because it's a new beginning. So if we, we should treat it that way. But you are right, Lamar. When we get comfortable, um, we feel like we have it, like I don't have to make an effort anymore. And that is dangerous.
Ooh, she said the danger zone. Look, I feel that the danger zone. Yes. So now let me ask y'all this one. Since we're gonna dabble kind of in that danger zone that I'm maybe a little too comfortable or I still have that fear. Why do people stay stuck in painful experiences?
Familiarity every single time. And it's because they know it's hurting them. They can feel it's hurting them, but they're so scared of something else hurting them worse. And they're so scared of the unknown and what could happen if they say that, and if it makes the situation worse, that they don't want to leave and get out of that situation and get the help that they need. And trust me, I've seen it many times. It sucks.
I can definitely agree with you there, Lamar. I think, the painful experience is very familiar and it's one that others can resonate with. And so you kind of stay stuck in that zone because it's easier sometimes to live there. if we can say that. I feel like when things are good is when people really do panic. We're gonna touch on that one in a few minutes too. Does anybody else feel like there's another reason why people sometimes stay stuck in like painful experiences? Oh, I see you, Angel.
Maybe because like they're going through something personal, you would say.
Yep, 1,000%. I feel like it can definitely I feel like a lot of people like if it's not personal to you, you won't care, if that makes sense. And so yeah, you would stay stuck in a painful experience because it's personal to you. Like there's something that's making you feel the pain, right? But then we go back to that comfortable feeling. You're comfortable feeling pain, or you're comfortable feeling like things are always going to go wrong. But then it scares you when things go right. So that's where the fear comes from. Oh, it feels too easy. And so it must be wrong. And I think we kind of touched on this last week too, right? If it's too easy, then you feel like you're not doing something right, or you feel like you're not doing enough. So then again, we go back to that feeling of pain. Anyone else feel like there's a reason why people stay stuck in their pain?
I will go back to the unknown. And it's pretty much what Angel and Namar said. What about if it's worse in other place? You stay in a job because or in a school or in a program or in a class, because the teacher, because the coach. What about if I move and I start a new sport, but I know this one, but you're not happy there anymore, and maybe you move and you do much better in the next one, but is that fear of the unknown. And that pretty much applies with other things. Sometimes it's because we don't feel prepared. Like, let's say you've been playing basketball since kindergarten and you're like, I'm done with basketball. I want to try swim, you know. And it's like, oh, but I only took one lesson of basketball, so I don't feel prepared. I mean swim. So I think is few things, and but I think the basic is what we all have say is the unknown.
Ooh-wee. Y'all ready for a tougher one?
Oh
He
Lord,
was like, he was like, bring it on, bring it
I
on.
thought those were tough already.
that's what I said.
You
And,
see?
and, and now, okay, okay.
Was it though? Was it? Amani, I saw you, baby girl. Did you have something you wanted to add before I go to the next question? Because I am more than willing to let you come on, girl.
I kind of want to build on what Lamar was saying, where sometimes it's not necessarily what you're familiar with, but what you're like who those around you are familiar with, in the sense where it's like if you see your parents do something, you're gonna follow it. If you see your peers do something, you're gonna follow it. And not to say everybody will, of course, but that's usually how it is. If you see your parents smoking and doing stuff like that, then you're it's a higher chance that you're going to end up doing stuff like that. So it's just kind of like what y'all were saying. It's that comfort, that familiarity with certain things, even if you know it's wrong, where it's like, well, kind of like a following in the footsteps type of thing.
Yes. I can agree with that. I can 1,000% agree with that. Look at y'all. Like y'all better come and cook tonight. I see y'all. Yes, for my team. I hear y'all loud and clear, baby. So now we asked some like of the tough questions. I feel where you kind of feel like, oh, these are all your Debbie Downers, right? So now let me get an uplifting one. Okay, so what do you guys feel like resilience look like in everyday life? So I know oftentimes we talk about resilience like after one hard day, but what do you guys think resilience should look like every day? And do we all understand what resilience is? Okay, I got you. All right. So resilience. Resilience is the way that you bounce back after a hardship. So let's say like you got your worst grade ever and you was probably mad and you probably cried, but how did you bounce back from that? So resilience can be like maybe you studied harder to get the best grade like for the next test and you did. Resilience can be like, hey, you lost your job and it's tough, but you're still finding a way to pay your bills. You're still finding a way to move forward. That's resilience. It's simply you're not giving up in spite of the things that are happening around you or in spite of the things that you feel are going against you in that moment. That's resilience. So how do you guys feel like people can utilize resilience every day and not just resilience after a major hardship?
I feel like you actually used a really good example with the grades one, but not just on the grades, but in like assignments in general, especially when it comes to certain classes, because a lot of kids get put in classes and that are challenging for them, and like a lot of these assignments look like straight up hieroglyphics. I'm not gonna lie. They gonna be out here looking like Egyptian ancient texts after a certain point, especially in the beginning. But the resilience will look like asking the questions and trying to understand what it actually means. Okay, this word looks unfamiliar. I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna ask my friend. Maybe he knows. I'm gonna ask the teacher. He or she probably know. Whatever. And it's really just making the small decisions because the small decisions they stack up, not just the big hardship that you can get past because that has a big impact too. But it's like that 20% of your grade being class break you missed for assignments, you already down 8%. You're down to a C when you could have had a B.
Okay, for the small moments. I like that. And I agree with the asking for help. Asking for help is you being resilient. And it especially when you know that you're struggling. But you crack me up with your hieroglyphics that sound like chemistry and algebra.
No, chemistry is fine. Algebra gonna be diabolical because I got algebra too.
Come on for the numbers, letters, and hieroglyphics in your classes. How else do you guys feel like people can be resilient every day and not just during a major hardship?
I think staying positive and not giving up easily shows resilience.
1,000%. I agree, Jenny. I do. I love it.
I would also add to that, like you always like work hard to like to your finest and never give up on things and like try hard, try every time, do it again and again.
That do it again and again. I love that. And it's true. I think sometimes we'll do a thing and if it don't work out the first time, we kind of be like, I'm done, I quit. But sometimes we got to do it like 3, 4, and 5 times in order for it to stick. And by the 4th or 5th time, you really get your best result. So I love that you guys are like, don't give up because you don't want to give up. Like that is true resilience, just not giving up and keep trying it over and over again and hoping like that you do something different or do something better. And I would add like for you guys, like I think reflection is a huge part of resilience. So reflection and gratitude, right? So it's so easy for us to find the negative in a day. All of the things that went wrong, all of the things that we failed at, all of the things that just it was not going our way, and now we're mad. But very seldom do we really sit down and think about all the things that went right in our day. And so when we wake up the next day, this is why we're continuing to do that thing over and over and over again, because we got something to be grateful for. And we have something that we can reflect back on. If it didn't work, why didn't it work? If we struggled, what made it hard? And actually taking that step, because to Lamar's point too, if we're going to ask for help, we got to know what we're asking for help for. Because we can't just walk up to a person and say, help me, with no context, right? Because then they don't really know how to help you or what they should be helping you with. So I think reflection and gratitude goes hand in hand with all of those things that you guys are mentioning in order for you to get the best result. And I think for me, I feel like that is what resilience looks like in a day-to-day, along with all those things you guys said. It's a combination. I love it. Okay, I got a tough one for y'all. I hope y'all ready. People like, you said that about the last one. Look, they all tough.
I mean, that's what I'm gonna say.
Okay, so I can happily say like I feel like we've all failed at something at least once, right? We've all had a failure. Yeah. Okay, I see some head nods. I see some head nods. Okay.
I succeed in all things. Trust.
I'm just oh really, Lamar? So being that we've kind of all experienced a failure, how can someone rebuild their confidence after a failure? This is why I like timeout.
I already got the answer for you because it's just one. It's one out of many mistakes that you gonna make in life to begin with. It's just the situation because you was gonna fail at something. It's just how you really take that failure and how you receive that to do better in the future. That's really gonna help you. So always remember, it's just one out of many attempts that you can try. It's how you try again and how you use that failure to have a different angle to try again for success. Because everybody successful had to fail to get there. They had to fail many times. They had to face that rejection and fail multiple times before they even got to the level, half of the level they was at to begin with. So take that failure as less of a wall and more as a step in the stairwell.
Okay. Throw them coins in the basket. Hold up. I love it. Anyone else? How do you guys feel someone can rebuild their confidence after a failure?
Okay, I probably the first step is identify if the failure is because it's your fault. Okay, so if you didn't work hard or if you so let's first identify that. And if it was your fault, let's try it again. And like change the attitude about whatever is the task. Okay. If it's not your fault, or the circumstances were not the perfect one, and then there was an issue, so we need to sit down and identify what I learned about this situation. It's not ask why this happened to me. It's like what I need to learn about this. And then, after you kind of like identify what was the lesson I need to learn, then let's try it again. And sometimes I think last week I gave the example of like identify what you're good at it, not just your dream, because you like, okay, I'm 4'11". I'm shorter than a lot of even high school students. Let's say my dream was to be the best basketball player and I want to be in the women's USA team. That was a dream. But you know what? I'm good at science. And then identify what you're good at it, because maybe, and I think I gave you the example last week that I failed my accounting class in college my first semester. Never ever in my life I had an F that low. I was a straight A student. That was a failure. I had to drop the class. I waste money. I even waste money on my book, all that. Then in front of my family, it was like, oh, she's not that smart. And it's like I identify, and I try the class again and fail again. And then after the second time, it's like, this is not for me. I could be the best accountant. I already had an uncle that had a job for me to be a CPA in Puerto Rico. And it was like life was set for me, but I was not good at that. So I took that failing and like, okay, what I really like. And then I changed degrees. I decided to study horticulture, and then I had a wonderful career after that. I'm not gonna lie, once in a while it's like I want to enroll in college and take that accounting class because I feel like that accounting class cannot dominate my life. But on the other side, do I need it? You know, do I need that class? No, I was able to identify at 18 years old, okay, accounting is not for me. Yes, I fail, and that's still there. Like I have that little voice, like you could not pass accounting, But on the other side, I can look back at that voice and say, yeah, but I still have a college degree in horticulture. I have a master's, I can go back and say, I'm good at other things and I excel what I'm doing. And I'm really good at what I do. I think we need to identify if the failure or because, you know, that new beginning is because we're really not good at that, and we can look at what we're good at it and then go from there. I don't know if that makes sense, but
It
that's
does.
one of the things that I have learned, because the reality is, you know, we concentrate on things and we spend money and time because we have a dream. But the reality is, are we good at that?
Right. I love that perspective. Um, Listen, my girl said I could go back because I'm gonna dominate this class. I'm not gonna let it defeat me. But do I really need it? And I think that's a good point though, because I feel like sometimes we keep doing a thing over and over and over again that we really don't need to do because we didn't really sit and reflect on it. And I think that's why I feel like that reflection piece is so important when we're talking about what we're choosing to do next in the next step, or like how we choose to overcome having those feelings. And I love that example, Ava. Like that was a great example of how you guys can overcome a thing. Is there anything else that you guys feel like you would take to help rebuild your confidence after a failure? I also look, I love that you said to Ava, understanding if the failure was your fault or not, because that is important. And I think we've kind of talked about this like in a previous, like way back last year's F1 last year's episodes. Understanding that sometimes things are not our fault, and how do we move past it? So we don't always get to have control over everything. And when things happen that are beyond our control, sometimes we still try to hold fault in a thing that really was beyond your control. And I think it's important in the reflection process to do exactly what she said. Understand, is the failure your fault? Or is the failure because of something that was outside of your control? And that reflection can help you tremendously, because again, if it's something outside of your control, then the bounce back to that is, okay, I'm just going to try it again. And hopefully the conditions for which I try again is better. But there's nothing that I can really change if it was something that was beyond my control. Like maybe you wanted to be that great basketball player, and your chance to shine was at that high school basketball game and they canceled it. That's beyond your control. You can't change that. But you can prepare for that next basketball game that's coming up, and then you shine in that game instead of this one. So again, it's like all in what's happening around you and how you can help prepare yourself for the next. So my next question for y'all. How do we stop letting our past define our future? I heard the pen slam.
That wasn't even that. That was these hands, because y'all have struggled with this for years. Not even now, but years beforehand. Hmm, that was not a fun time. But your past doesn't define you, because the same mistakes you made then aren't the same mistakes that you can choose to make now. If you look at the mistakes you made beforehand and then see the process on how you made the mistake, right? You look at that, you reflect back, and then you can look to see how you cannot make that mistake again. That's how you can now let your past define you, by seeing how you made that mistake and trying to do better from that. Because the past is exactly that. It's in the past. It already happened. A lot of things I know a lot of people hold in are from months, weeks, months, years in the past. Myself included, I'm a part of that. But still, we hold that in, and we don't even got to do that because we didn't look at how we made that mistake and how we can choose to not make that mistake in the future in a similar situation.
I love that. I love that. I love Lamar saying like we ain't got to make the same mistake twice. And that's how we stop it from defining us. I love that. Anybody else know how we can stop letting our past define our future? Oh, you got one more thing, Lamar? Come on.
I was gonna say, I was gonna say this, like, you can make the same mistake twice because two different situations can happen with the same thing. But like the third time, that's crazy. See, twice is
but
okay.
then
It's
in
called
that
two-step
case, though, is it
verification.
really a mistake though?
It's a pattern, but like like two-step verification.
Not the two-step verification.
That's what it is, though. That's how we can think about it.
Because I'm saying if you're making the conscious effort to do it a second time, is it really a mistake?
But also against different situation though.
But still, it doesn't matter if you're making the conscious decision to do the same thing twice, is it really a mistake? That's all I'm asking. I mean, there's no right or wrong, but I see exactly what you're saying, right? Yes, you can do a thing right now and it's considered a mistake if you do it because you didn't mean to do it and it was an ultimate fail. But the action that you did that was a fail in another situation could be a success. I get that 100%. So that's why I'm saying like because you said like you can make the same mistakes twice. And I'm like, the idea is you really don't want to make the same mistake.
But like
twice.
I mean like but I was saying in a different situation though.
No,
Like,
I
that's what
get
I'm
it.
saying.
But that's why I said, even in a different situation, if you're consciously making the effort to do the thing that was a mistake before, is it really a mistake the second time if you chose to do it?
I would say it also depends on the situation.
Okay.
It could be situational because like some mistakes are like it wasn't the right environment to do that. So then in the second situation you found the environment in which you could actually do that and it would end up a positive result. But it also depends on what you're doing. So it is very situational.
Okay, I'm down for the situationship.
I don't think that's what that means, but okay.
How the rest of y'all feel? Do y'all
Okay,
think
okay.
if you if you do the same thing twice, is the second time really a mistake? Or do you feel like it's situational? Look, they say y'all not gonna get us on record saying it.
Okay, I will tell you that if the first time we made the mistake because we were in the wrong environment, so and the second time is no, then we learned the lesson. You know, I don't know, it's but if you did like me, that is like I failed in that accounting class and I want to try again and I failed for the second time, so I wasted the time twice. But the reality is, I will tell you, I went back to my mom and said, I don't want to study accounting. And she's like, no, that's what you need to do. So it was interesting. So, but don't tell her that I said that because I will get in
I'm
trouble.
straight telling. I'm
Yeah,
telling.
not that she's going to watch this eventually, but you know,
Snitches get stitches.
she will email me or call me. But I think, yes, the situation can make a difference. But also, like we said at the beginning, if we have to start all over because we made the mistake. Do you think that mistake was on purpose or is because we were not prepared for what we were doing? So maybe I was not prepared for that exam the first time. I improved my grade, by the way. I should tell you that the second time. Failed anyway, but it was a much better grade. But it was because I was not prepared. It's because I didn't like the class. Like maybe I was not mature enough for that. maybe I didn't have the right support. So, but the second time around, or maybe when I decide to change my degree and I have much better grades and do what I needed to do, that was different, you know. I didn't quit going to college. And I think if we learn from the mistake and we try again, um I think it's okay. Like I know I have friends that they have to take a qualification exam for their careers and they failed the first time after they study 7 8 years, and they are like, okay, I did this, I know I'm good at this, I had a good GPA, I aced all my exams. It's just, let me see what happened, let me identify why I failed the test. And then they study, they come with techniques about how to study the next time, and then they pass the test, and today they're been working in their careers for 10 12 years.
Right.
Is identify and realizing, I'm prepared for this, I'm not. I'm like, if you fail, what are the reasons? And then try again. If it's something that you're good at it and you want it, why not try it again?
I love that. I love that. I can agree with that. Okay, y'all, here's y'all's last question. And y'all know it's got to be participatory. So everybody's got to answer this one. What's one lesson that you've learned from a difficult season that you're grateful for today? Yeah, I'll repeat it.
Can I
What's
ask if it's a difficult season because of a decision or because it was something that happened in life?
however you define it. Yep. So what's one lesson that you've learned from a difficult season that you're grateful for today? I love these thinking faces.
We should start calling by alphabetical order.
Oh, oh,
There's no need. I got it.
Lamar, like, we ain't gotta do that. We ain't gotta do that.
Now, a lesson I've learned is that patterns can change in people, but people have to choose to change with them. And I mean that in any environment, let that be in a working environment, in a school environment, in a friendship, relationship environment. Their patterns and behaviors can change, but they have to choose to change with it. Because you can always fall back in that same cycle. It's just how you choose to get out of that cycle and replace it with a new one.
So you're grateful for understanding the pattern that
Yeah.
changes.
Yeah. I'm grateful for understanding that people don't have to choose to change with their environment and the new change and not just automatically do that. Because you can be the same person in a different environment, causing the same damage you did somewhere else.
Okay, okay. Who got
I'll
next?
go second.
Okay.
Something that I learned is that like the only way to be over something is to go through it and like learn whatever that moment is supposed to teach you.
Who got next? I can hear y'all loud and clear. Bree and Angel yelling at each other right now. You go. No, you go. I know that's what y'all doing. Look. Look, it written all over Bree's face. She's like, how she know?
I'll go. Okay, so in a difficult situation, whatever is the situation, especially if it's something that we choose to do and didn't go the way we wanted. Is first identify what I need to learn from this, what I need to do different the next time, and then decide that it is just a lesson. It's just a lesson. And then moving forward, going back to last week, then moving forward, even if it's baby steps to get out of that situation, and never forget what is your goal or what is your dream. Neither goals or dreams have expiration days.
True story.
Everybody's telling you you need to graduate high school at 18 and then you need to go to college and you should not be there more than 4 years. That's not true. That's not true. I celebrate every time I see someone in their 80s finishing their college degree because whatever happened in life and they can go back and celebrate later. I cry every time I see someone like that because their dreams don't have expiration date. People, the other thing is if you're learning from a difficult situation, do not live by anyone expectation except your parents, your mentors, or people that really support you, but live by your own expectations, and then look at yourself every day, and that should be your only competition, yourself. Look back where I was yesterday, where I'm today, what I'm planning for tomorrow, and that helps to move forward. That doesn't mean that you're gonna have low days. That doesn't mean that you're gonna question yourself. Do I, I'm in the right path, what I'm doing. But at the end of the day, is your dream, is your path, is your mistake. Own your mistake. That's another thing. Like we were talking earlier, like if the mistake is my fault or not. Okay, we can identify that, but on the other side, we cannot use that as an excuse to not move forward. Oh, they canceled the game and I couldn't show up that I was the best, and you keep dragging that for a year because of that game was canceled. No, we use that as a motivation to like the next time I have the opportunity to play, I'm gonna do it good. It is like be better every day. I think that's the way that we can overcome difficult times and own when the difficult times or the mistake was ours. And if it was someone, we blame it for a little bit, but after that it's on our own to continue. It's not somebody else mistake or fault. At the end, you need to move forward, and you will own your own decisions and your own path.
100%. I love that. I love that. Back at you two. Not the finger pointing. All right, Bree, come on. It's you, Bree. She's like, oh man.
Can you repeat it again so I can understand? real quick?
Yes. What's one lesson that you've learned from a difficult season that you're grateful for today?
A lesson that I learned was like that, like from when I was in my old school, like my coaches like gave me a lot of advice for like future, like the future and stuff. Like I was in middle school and then in high school, and they're saying that that just like you got it, you just never give up on your dreams and aspirations, and always keep praying. Yeah.
I love that. Yes. I love implementing prayer because listen, prayer do work. How about for you, Angel?
That's
Yep.
kind of what
It
happened
would've
to me
been-
too.
Look, I was like, yeah, we don't call Bree out now. It's your turn.
That's kind of what happened to me.
Bree, you gonna let him ride on your answer? Look, she like,
No, but
nah.
it's true because like I remember like one day, um, I wouldn't say my mentor, but like he was a coach that like coached football, and so like he told me if you really want to pursue like going professional, like you just have to like put it all the work and don't quit at all.
I love that. Yeah, put in the work and don't quit. Cause it gets hard, right? It gets tough. And I know like the workouts, like you be tired. You're like, I don't want to do this no more. How many times you get mad? You be like, I don't want to do this no more. That happened. You're like, yeah. I get it. I get it. Amani, you want to share? I know you hiding in the back.
Sure. Sorry. Um, I think that advice I would share, it's not necessarily as positive as everyone else's, but it's not all advice is good advice, which is another reason why prayer is important. You need to have discernment and be able to filter out what advice is meant for you, what advice is meant for you to take, and what advice is actually, for the good of you, not just thrown out there. Because obviously, everyone makes mistakes in their life and they might not. Um, it's not that they might not have the best interest for you and your situation, but it's just that they might not know the right thing to do, but they're still trying to help you in whatever way they can. So it's just, you just have to have that discernment, just understanding.
Oh, I love that. Grateful for discernment. Yes. Okay, I love all y'all's answers, to be honest. Look, Lamar came with being grateful for the patterns of change. Jenny came with being grateful for learning as you go through things. Get over it as you go through it, right? So like you gotta go through it in order to get to the best part of you. And I love that. Eva said, seeing the lesson. You really do have to see the lesson for what it is and take baby steps to move towards your goal without giving up. Angela and Brian, I love y'all, even though they were similar, they had different perspectives. So understanding like not to give up and to continue even in your darkest times, it does make a difference. And having that discernment. The only thing that I say I would add is like I'm always grateful for a new day. So despite the difficult season that I may have, we wake up the next day to start again. And our today does not have to be our yesterday. And that's one of the things that I'm grateful for every day. We get to wake up and choose what our destiny is going to look like moving forward. We don't have to stay stuck in the rut. So, that being said, now comes my favorite part because before we wrap up today's conversation, again, I want to continue shining a light on some of our incredible young leaders who are making a real difference in our communities. And so each quarter, our youth program ambassadors choose an issue that's passionate to them. And, their projects are projects that tend to educate, advocate, and inspire change. So as we spend this month talking about new beginnings, our ambassadors want to remind you that no matter what you're facing tomorrow, can hold possibilities that you couldn't even imagine. So now I will pass the mic over to one of our wonderful youth program ambassadors.
Nah, no, you're not. All right, but real talk. It's Lamar again for the second year in a row. And I'm a youth program ambassador that says Foundation. And this month, we've really been talking about new beginnings. And I want to ask y'all a question we ain't asked already. Have you ever felt like everyone's had their life figured out except for you? Maybe you felt overwhelmed. Maybe you've made mistakes, which we all have. And maybe you've been through a difficult season and wondered if things would ever get better. If that's you, I want you to hear this. Your story ain't over. One difficult day doesn't define your future. One setback doesn't determine your worth. And one season doesn't decide the rest of your life. That's why our youth program ambassadors are dedicating this quarter to suicide prevention awareness. Because sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is remind someone that hope still exists. There is strength in asking for help. There is courage in talking about your feelings. And there are people who genuinely just want to walk alongside you. This September, we're inviting students, families, educators, and community members to join us for a powerful conversation that could change and even save a life. But wait, there's more. Because Steps Foundation got some other stuff too. Tomorrow on August 12th at, I don't see a time. I think it's 6. I I cannot confirm or deny. I'm going off of memory. I think it's 6 p.m. tomorrow. We got our survival program,
5
virtual life
p.m.
skill.
At 5
5.
p.m.
Is that 5? Okay. I'm like, I'm going off memory. You can't trust me off memory. But tomorrow we got our survival program, virtual life skills. That's beginning. And this month's survival program, it focuses on health and wellness, helping teens develop practical life skills, healthy habits, and strategies to support their overall well-being, especially going out of high school. We'd love to help you join us. Visit our website and select what we offer and complete the program application. Sign up. Because this year, applications are steady open, right? Or when, okay, I'm making sure. Look, join up, y'all. Pop in. And then on August 31st, we have our Mindful Moments session, the Wellness Blueprint. Students and parents are invited to our free, you ain't gotta pay none, virtual Mindful Moments workshop presented by our Retain Your Brain program. The Wellness Blueprint will equip participants with practical strategies for managing stress, building healthy routines, practicing self-care, and recognizing when to seek support and discovering wellness resources for teens and families. Together, we'll learn how to recognize warning signs, support the people we love, and create communities where no one feels like they have to struggle alone. This ain't just another event. It's an opportunity to remind someone they matter. And maybe that's exactly what someone needs to hear. We'll be sharing registration information soon, so keep an eye on our website and social media, because every conversation has the power to create a new beginning. Get your fresh start today.
Okay, fresh start. Yes. So as we close today's conversation, again, I want to leave you guys with this, understanding that every new beginning starts with courage to take one step. So whether, again, you're preparing for a new school year, starting a job, stepping into new relationships, or simply becoming a new version of you, remember that you don't have to have everything figured out before you begin. Growth happens one decision, one lesson, and one courageous step at a time. So every new beginning brings a choice. We can let uncertainty hold us back, or we can allow it to shape us into stronger, wiser, and more courageous versions of ourselves. Throughout this month, we're going to continue reflecting on what it means to embrace change with confidence, learn to release the pressure of having everything figured out, find hope after difficult seasons, discover the courage to be a beginner, and trust ourselves when life doesn't go according to plan. No matter where you find yourself today, your journey doesn't have to look like someone else's. Every challenge that you face, every lesson that you learn, and every step that you take is preparing you for the person that you're becoming. So don't be afraid to start over. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to try something new. And don't let fear convince you that it's too late to begin. Your story is still being written. Some of your greatest opportunities may be waiting just beyond the step that you're afraid to take today. So keep believing in yourself, keep embracing that growth, and keep moving forward with courage, because every new beginning holds the possibility of an incredible future. So closing us out, again, I am Abigail, and it's been an honor sharing this journey with you guys on this Tuesday. Remember that the power of positivity is always within you. So until next time, stay strong, stay curious, stay true to yourself, stay inspired, stay empowered, and keep leading the way. We'll see you guys next week for another episode of Talk Tuesday.
Tuesday, let it out, let it breathe. Every voice got power, every story we believe. Talk Tuesday, stand tall, be heard. Steps Foundation. Yeah, we moving with purpose.